Hutchinson all morning long had an incredible season, returning from that broken leg better than ever. Finished with a career-high 14.5 sacks, fourth in the league. Yesterday was named second-team All-Pro. Lions got off to a strong start, but then finished up 4-6 in their last 10. Tons of close losses and missed the playoffs, finishing with a record of 9-8. So just a couple of quick thoughts, if we could, Hutch, while we have you here on the season. So many expectations. If you had to put your finger on it, why didn't the season go the way you and your teammates hoped it would?
Yeah, I mean, as a player, it really felt in those critical games we were not playing complementary football in those moments, and that's really on all three phases. It was sometimes offense, defense, special teams. It was a collective thing where little parts were letting us down, and we were losing these close games. And we ended up 9-8, but it just wasn't enough to get us in. And that was it was unfortunate, but we're all looking forward to next year. And
so as you turn the page to next year, if there's one thing you could put your finger on and said, this is what we need to do better in order to get where we want to be in 2026, what's that thing?
To me, defensively, I think it's get healthy. It's get our secondary healthy, get all those guys back, and I really think we're gonna have a complete defense.
All right, we shall see. Again, the division is strong. We saw two of them.
Now, I want to frame this a little bit, because I do think some of the way this was reacted to has been a little bit unfair, frankly. I don't know how many of you listen to 97.1 or Mike Valenti, but those guys over there tend to have I think they tend to be more harsh on former Wolverine players, because Aidan Hutchinson. Now, I want to frame this a little bit, because I do think some of the way this was reacted to has been a little bit unfair, frankly. I don't know how many of you listen to 97.1 or Mike Valenti, but those guys over there tend to have I think they tend to be more harsh on former Wolverine players, because Aidan Hutchinson has been a heck of a player for the Detroit Lions. I mean, he's been a tremendous player. And the fact that they won 9 games is not Aidan Hutchinson's fault. It's just not. And so they were ripping him up a bit about him blaming the failure of the season on injuries and his suit. They didn't like that, whatever. Guy wants to wear a suit, let him wear a suit. Who cares? I do think that there is some credibility, though, to the fact that they weren't healthy. And the downside of this is that we've had this conversation before. We've had it a couple seasons in a row now, actually. And Hutch didn't sugarcoat it. I mean, he didn't really give any other excuses. He called Detroit's season unfortunate and admitted that in critical games that the team didn't play complementary football. And I don't think it was a deflection. I think he was being honest. Ravaged by injuries in 2025. Guys, he didn't blame his teammates. He didn't blame the coaches. He wasn't making excuses. He was stating a fact that the margin for error in the NFL is very thin, and every unit has to show up, and Detroit didn't always get that. In my opinion, it's a mature take from a guy whose personality on the field is anything but timid. Depth. That's a unit missing. But the reality is that Detroit's defense was ravaged by injuries in 2025. Guys like Kirby Joseph, Ennis Rakestraw, who was a draft pick in 2024. He got injured early on in the preseason 2025. He was going to be a starter. He did not get to. Marcus Davenport, Terrion Arnold, Brian Branch missed significant time. So that's not just a unit missing depth. That's a unit missing identity. You lose close games, you should win. And when your identity is built, as Detroit's has been, on physical front seven play and opportunistic defense, missing those guys isn't a small setback. It's a season changer. They're going to lose some games as a result of it. getting healthy because he didn't say the offense getting healthy. So Hutch's point wasn't saying, well, we weren't good enough. It was we weren't whole enough. And I get it. And when you aren't whole in the NFL, especially on defense, you lose close games you should win. And that's what happened in Detroit. Every fan in Detroit has felt watching this year, Hutchinson was coming off a brutal leg injury. And it was important in this segment that he specified the defense getting healthy because he didn't say the offense getting healthy. He said the defense staying healthy, especially the secondary, because when your front seven is creating chaos, but the back end can't hold up consistently, that's where games are lost. That's critical. That's real. But ultimately, it's about execution and staying. That's something every fan in Detroit has felt watching a close loss slip away because a guy was out or a unit wasn't at full strength. And if the Lions can keep the roster intact, not just their stars, but their complementary players, this franchise will not just be in another playoff race. They'll be a legitimate Super Bowl threat. All of the pieces are there. All of them. Now it's about execution. I think they pick up a couple holes in the offseason. Maybe they do something in the draft. But ultimately, it's about execution and staying on the field. We're going to be moving on to the coaching. And so I don't have a problem with what he said. He's not talking about X's and O's. He's talking about health, complementary football, and accountability. It's ownership, guys. Straight up chaos. And that's what this team needs, especially if they want to turn another 9-8 season into a championship run. So, and I think that's the truth. And you just all heard it straight from one of Detroit's best.